Now using the greatest art program ever, MS Paint, I'll show you how I want to construct the hammock. Starting with the I-splice, I will use that to anchor the 4 spiral knots that will tie into the smaller hoop and then all the way down to the base. In between those will be some netting in a different color to give some contrast to the whole thing. And I also want to add some tassels to make it look pretty when it spins. And for the bottom, I will make a grommet that will be the base for me to weave a seat into the hoop. For my materials, there's a hula hoop, twine, 12mm cotton rope, 5mm cotton rope, my sewing kit, and a tapestry needle as my makeshift marlin spike. All of these are from discount stores or friends, because to quote Captain Prelo, I am a broke, starving college student. Now I'll be making the I-splice, which kind of fought me a little bit since we practiced with a smaller size in class, but it held when I started my spiral knots and has yet to fall apart on me. The spiral knots are the main support for the hammock and are just a bunch of square knots with a rope in between. With the smaller hoop, I'm just wrapping it in this 5mm rope so it can fit the aesthetic of the whole hammock. I then attached it to the spiral knots once they reached a good length. Once I finished those, I started on the netting. This one is positioned at the back of the hammock and it's made with 2 overhand knots. This one is made with an easy half hitch and are on both sides of the hammock. Moving on to the base, I'm just wrapping it in the rope, same as the smaller hoop, because a sparkly hula hoop isn't really what I'm going for. I actually had a journey trying to find a good seat to make. Like at first, I found the treasure net from Ashley's Book of Knots, but I couldn't figure out with these instructions because I'm a visual learner, but the only thing I found online was a chain from a forum called International Guild of Knot Tiers, and nobody in it figured out how to do it either. So I just decided to abandon it and just weave it instead. But I think it turned out pretty okay. Kinda looks like a spiderweb or a sand dollar. After attaching the base, I tied the barrel knots at the end and brushed them out to make tassels. Before showing the final results, some mishaps that happened were that my first design for the back netting was to use barrel knots instead of overhand, but I didn't really like it, so I redid it. And then somehow I cut a rope way too short, but I was pretty far into the knots and decided to just use a joint splice instead. This is my first attempt, and my second. And then one of the spiral knots was really loose, so I had to unwind it to get it taut. And here it is. I think for my first try doing this, it turned out pretty good. To wrap it up, I estimated that it will take me about 16 hours to do this, but in actuality it took me a little over 18 hours.